Hello there guys and welcome to Student Meals. In this episode I will show you how to make пироги. This time I will show you the potato version of it. Of course there are many different variations, for example with cabbage, mushrooms, you name it. We probably have it. Since I moved to Belgium I was always craving пироги, but in Belgium you can't really buy them. You have to make them yourself and it takes quite a lot of time since you have to make the dough yourself. So I'm going to show you a little hack to make a lazy version of пироги that tastes pretty much the same using pizza dough. You heard it, pizza dough. Pre-made store pizza dough makes for a good пироги dough. Who knew? Anyway, I hope that you enjoy this episode. So what you'll need is potatoes. You'll need about 4 to 5 potatoes depending on the potato size. And what you want to do is cut them up into small cubes. Onions. Here I have 2 small onions which I've chopped up into small bits. 1 egg yolk. This is optional. This is purely for that golden brown finish on your pastry. This is 1 egg yolk with a tiny bit of water that I mixed up so that it's nice and spreadable. Of course, pizza dough. I have 2 round ones, 1 for the bottom and 1 for the top. For the seasoning you can pretty much choose whatever you like, but I like to keep it nice and basic, so I just use salt. Whoa, there goes the dough. I mainly use just salt and occasionally I just add a little bit of pepper, but the simpler the better in my opinion. And finally, cooking oil, whatever oil that you're going to use to fry your potatoes in. So first of all we're going to prepare our filling. Some people like to add the filling raw straight into the pirog and let it bake in the oven, but I like to pre-fry it a bit with a little bit more seasoning. That way it releases more flavor in my opinion, but it's all up to you. So take a pan, put a little bit of cooking oil in there, put it on the fire and let it get hot. Once the oil is hot, add in your potatoes. Give it a good stir, lower your fire to medium and let them fry until they start to feel a bit softer. So about 5 to 6 minutes later I'm going to add the onions. Give it a good stir and let it fry for another minute or 2. Make sure not to over fry your potatoes because they still have to go in the oven, and I'm also going to season them at this point. Just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. There we go. The onions are almost done and the potatoes are also almost done. So I'm just going to turn off the fire and your filling is ready to be put in some dough. So take a pizza tray and roll out your dough. I'm just going to remove the excess baking paper bits. I just basically took a spatula and roughly measured out how many pieces I want. I divide my pizza dough into 12 pieces because I want more separate ones. You can also make them into star shapes, make them bigger, do whatever you want. So the next step is to take your filling and put them on the predefined spaces. There we go. All of the spaces are nicely filled. Just make sure that you leave a little bit of space on the edges and in between the separate pastries, or you can fill the whole thing up with potatoes, but I like when they are small and separate pieces. So now comes the tricky part. We're basically going to cover all of this with the other piece of dough. Make sure that you have an extra pair of hands to help you along, or you can just go ahead and YOLO it, but I can't be responsible for the consequences. So basically I'm just going to put it on there as precisely as I can. There we go. Now just remove the baking paper, and now I'm going to spread the dough so that it covers the edges. And now just pinch the edges together. Just make sure that everything is nicely closed up. So once everything is nice and sealed, I like to separate them with my finger so that I have my separate patties. At this point you're basically ready, but what I like to do is take a fork and run it all over my patties so that I'm sure that they are nicely separated and sealed up. A final press with the finger. Call me paranoid, but I like to do that stuff. Paranoid, he was a paranoid. That's not the song. And now, the finishing touch. Take your egg and cover your patties with it. There we go! Nicely covered and ready to be put in the oven. So now, put it in a preheated oven and follow the instructions according to your package. My package says 180 degrees Celsius for about roughly 15 minutes. Пироги! And there you go. 20 minutes later and they're done. Now it's time to cut them up. Now just take a plate and scoop them on there. And there you go! You have yourself a nice pile of pirogi. Piroshki actually, because they are small. Pirog is more of a big chunky thing that you cut up. But I made those little compact pieces of dough pastry filled with potato. Well, that was a large sentence. Words. I'm so tired, holy shit. All you have to do now is just take some sour cream and dig in.
Time for a test! I'm gonna dip it in some sour cream. Cheers. Wow. For me, the first time I ate this, Leo's parents or Leo made it for me, and already then I thought it was so delicious. Me as a European, I thought it was a strange idea to put potatoes in pizza dough. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I just love the combination. So when we were in Russia a few years ago, I tried the real ones that they sell like in a sort of bakery. I tried them with potatoes, I tried them with this sort of cheese, with cabbage, all kinds, and I must say this kind of reminds me of them. So I know it's not the same, but it's very, the flavors are very close to each other. So I think it's a very good homemade and easy recipe if you like the original ones. So now I'm going to close this video because I'm very hungry and this just made me crave for even more. So thank you guys for watching this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like our videos, or if you like what we do, feel free to subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all of your support. So thanks again, and as always, see you in the next one. Goodbye! Ah.